Okay, maybe we will start about 2 minutes.
Okay, sure, no problem.
And our moderator for today is Akmal Musyafa, inshallah. He's a student from accounting class.
Okay, sure.
And there is Dr. Eswa Fitri. She's also lecturer in this class of accounting.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Isfa.
Waalaikumsalam, Ibu Nur Laili. How
Yeah.
are you today?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good.
Alhamdulillah.
Sehat-sehat saja.
Sehat-sehat ya. Semua sehat. Alhamdulillah. Bagaimana di Malaysia? Musim hujan?
Hari ini belum hujan lagi.
Oh, belum hujan. Kami di Indonesia hampir setiap hari sekarang, terutama di kota saya tiap hari, tiap sore itu hujan.
Oh, sudah. Hari ini belum hujan lagi.
Alhamdulillah. So, who will be the MC, or shall we start now, or Bayakti? But only 17 students, mashallah.
Yes,
I think PJ, I see should call your friends to come.
Yeah, they are in the Zoom, Dr. Laili, not in the hall.
Okay. All right, okay. So all the students will be in Zoom, 80 students then.
Inshallah.
Okay.
Okay, it's already 5 p.m. Malaysia time, maybe Akmal. It's time to start.
Okay, we start.
Please
Ini langsung
open
dimulai
your camera ya, guys. Okay, let's begin.
Oke. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone, fellow students at Syariah Economics IPB, and also Ms. Yakti Maharani and also Ms. Resfa Fitri as the lecturer of the current study, which is Syariah Accounting, and also we warmly welcome Dr. Nur Laili Ab Ghani as our guest lecturer for today, and she will, in this class, she will about accounting for Islamic Social Finance at Graduate School of Business, University Kebangsaan Malaysia. And prior to joining UKM, she worked as a trainee accountant at Berka Proclus, an audit firm in London, UK. She received her Bachelor of Arts in Accounting and Financial Management from University of Sheffield. She earned Master in Islamic Banking and Finance from the Institute of Islamic Banking and Finance, International Islamic University Malaysia. She received her Doctor of Philosophy in Islamic Banking and Finance at the Institute of Islamic Banking and Finance, International Islamic University Malaysia. Her major research interests include Sharia audit, accounting, and auditing for Islamic financial institutions and Sharia governance. So, without further ado, let's please welcome Dr. Laili Ab Ghani. Good afternoon, Dr. Laili. How are you?
Good afternoon. Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Maybe before I pass the screen to Dr. Laili, is there any opening remarks from Dr. Resfa or maybe Bu Resfa or maybe Bu Bayakti?
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in, amma ba'du. The Honorable Dr. Laili Ab Ghani from University of I forgot what University of Malaysia,
National.
University of National Malaysia, and Ibu Yakti Maharani as a lecturer from this subject, and all of students who attend this lecture today. And yeah, in this respect, I would like to convey our appreciation and gratitude for Dr. Laili, who be able to attend our guest lecture today. And it is very important for us because the guest lecture from overseas, yeah. And usually we have only in Indonesia, and now we got opportunity. We get an opportunity to have a guest lecture from Malaysia, and it is very, very important for us. And the purpose of our guest lecture in our university actually is to give insight to the students to get lecture from out of the university lecture, and especially expert who expertise regarding the topic that relate to the our subject, yeah, especially regarding Sharia accountancy. And then this is very important also because it's the lecture from overseas, and we will get insight, and the student get insight how Islamic accountancy in Malaysia, and hopefully the student get much more insight and knowledge, yeah, about how accountancy, Sharia accountancy in Malaysia. And for student, this is a good opportunity for you to ask question, yeah, get more knowledge from Dr. Laili, and don't be hesitate, yeah, to ask question and give comments, and yeah, in order to get more knowledge and insight from this guest lecture. I think that's all for me, and have a good guest lecture for all of us. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Ms. Rasfa Fitri, as the opening remarks. And we can continue to our main agenda for today, which is guest lecture from Dr. Nur Laili Ab Ghani. To Dr. Laili, the time and screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, Brother Akmal. Let me share my screen. All right, can you all see my slide?
Yes,
We can see it.
Yes.
Okay, wait a minute. Auzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa la haula wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to Dr. Resfa, Sister Yakti, and all the students from the department, from Faculty of Economics and Management, IPB University Bogor. I never been to Bogor. I have been to Depok, to UI, met some friends there, but never been to Bogor yet. So inshallah, hopefully one day I can go to IPB University to visit some of you. Okay, first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Resfa and the rest of the management in Faculty of Department of Islamic Economics for inviting me to be the guest speaker for this lecture. So I would take this, I'm very honored to share from my least experience and knowledge that I have on accounting for Islamic social finance. So hopefully the session will be more interactive. Feel free to interrupt me in between if you want to share anything that you know, or you want to add anything while I'm presenting this topic. Okay, so I will present the topic on accounting for Islamic social finance. I believe that from my understanding, this is one of the topic from the accounting from Islamic perspective course, is it? Yeah. From the information that I receive. So today we are going to look at one topic on accounting from Islamic perspective, which is accounting for Islamic social finance. So this is the learning outcome that we hope to achieve by the end of this lecture. We will discuss on the deep understanding of Sharia accounting principles, as well as how we can apply that Sharia principles, the Sharia contracts, in the context of Islamic social finance. Okay, I would like to start with some of the key understanding that we need to have before we embark into accounting for Islamic social finance in the context of Islamic social finance. What you first need to understand is about Islamic finance. So overall, Islamic finance, you can divide the understanding of Islamic finance into two. One is the Islamic commercial finance that we currently have in a lot of, in any countries, majority of the countries. Indonesia also have Islamic commercial finance, Islamic financial institutions, Malaysia, Middle East. So that is the commercial part of Islamic finance, whereby we have all the Islamic financial systems, all the Islamic banking products and services. So that will be the Islamic commercial finance. But what we want to focus on this afternoon is on another part of Islamic finance, which is Islamic social finance. Probably is not that new. Maybe we have, a lot of scholars have already discussed on Islamic social finance for the past probably like 10 years. So what I would like to share in terms of the Islamic social finance before we finally get into accounting for Islamic social finance is we need to understand the concept first, the concept and principles of Islamic finance, as well as what are the instruments in Islamic social finance, any institutions that establish or implement Islamic social finance instruments, and what will be the applicable Sharia contracts related to Islamic social finance. And finally, we will look at how we can apply Islamic accountings in the context of social finance. Okay, so as an introduction, we understand that we have a very wide Islamic economic system. And then part of the Islamic economic system, we have the demand and supply. We believe that as part of the Islamic economic system, we believe that all the resources belongs to Allah. When we talk about conventional economic, obviously the conventional economic system believe that resources are scarce. Yeah, but in Islamic economic system, actually resources are not, there's no scarcity of resources because Allah has given all the resources here in the world. It is the responsibility of the human as the Khalifah to find the resources and then provide all the services, achieve the socio-economic benefit to the people, as well as meeting the demand and supply. So that is the worldview of Islamic economic system that we need to understand. A part of Islamic economic system, we have the Islamic finance, and as what I have explained earlier, the Islamic finance can be divided into Islamic commercial finance as well as the Islamic social finance. So one is the commercial part and another one is the social finance part. And I will touch a bit on Islamic financial system on the commercial side before we go on into Islamic social finance. So this is actually the overview, the full overview of Islamic financial system. Currently, we have Islamic banking system. I believe in Indonesia, in Malaysia, we have the Islamic banking system, which mobilize the deposits and provide financing to facilitate growth. We have the savings, investment products. So that is the common Islamic banking system that we have. As well as we also have the takaful and retakaful industry, which provide the protection and risk sharing method, which the parties get together to share the risk and share the risk and having to strengthen the resilience of Islamic financial system. Another part of Islamic financial system is we have the Islamic equity market. Currently, we also have it in Malaysia, which is the Islamic institutional investors participating in capital raising exercise to finance business expansion of corporations. We also have the Islamic interbank money market, which is covering the broad spectrum of short and long-term Islamic financial instruments, such as the government investment issues, the negotiable notes, as well as the Islamic private debt securities, which allows Islamic banking institutions to meet their liquidity needs. Other than that, we also have the Islamic capital market, which is include the funds to finance long-term infrastructure and development of projects through the issuance of Islamic private debt securities such as sukuk. So in Malaysia, we have quite a lot of sukuk issuance being governed by the Securities Commission Malaysia to finance all the mega projects done by the government. Okay, and we also have the specialized non-bank institutions, which include the development financial institutions, as well as the Pilgrims Fund Board. In Malaysia, we call it Tabung Haji. Sorry, I forgot to find what it is called in Indonesia. I mean, any institution that manage the pilgrimage. So that offer Islamic financial products and services to complement Islamic banking system to achieve specific economic sectors. So this is the full overview of Islamic financial system, and currently this Islamic financial system have been done on the commercial part. So let's look at the overview of Islamic social finance. So Islamic social finance is actually one of the branch of Islamic finance that offer products and services not for profit. Okay, so what I can say is that in terms of the commercial, their objective is to achieve or to get a higher profit. That is the commercial side of Islamic finance, Islamic commercial finance. And we also have the non-government institution, which is, their aim is not to achieve the profit. So I would say that based on my readings, and Islamic social finance situated like in between of Islamic commercial finance and the non-government non-profit organization, because they probably have some means, not that the majority of the objective is for profit, but their objective is to achieve the social justice via redistribution of wealth. So from Maqasid Syariah or objective of Islamic law perspective, it is mandatory for one to help each other in protecting one another from hardship, as one can achieve success in the world, this world and hereafter. So why do we need Islamic social finance? First, most important thing is that Islamic commercial finance, they cannot satisfy the needs on certain segment of population. So it is inadequate to fulfill all segments of population. The Sharia contracts used and their objective are different when it is used for not-for-profit purpose. So I believe that a lot of people are familiar with zakat, being paid by individuals or business entities paying zakat, but at the moment there's no like Sharia contract, institutionalized Sharia contracts being attached to that particular payment of zakat payable. So And we also need Islamic social finance to achieve the institutionalization of Islamic social finance to reach out those who are in need of it. So that's why currently I think we are talking about SDGs, social sustainability development. We talk about value-based intermediation. So Islamic social finance will be able to meet those objectives. So that's why currently a lot of people are talking about Islamic social finance. We can see that Islamic social finance will become an enabler of social development. One thing is to advance financial inclusion, because the instruments and can actually address the constraints typically associated with traditional finance. Because Islamic social finance, the target population probably the low income population. In Malaysia, we call it B40. Yeah, probably based on your readings, you might heard about that terms. So Islamic social finance, they can address that constraints because certain population group of people are not able to get the financing from the Islamic commercial finance. So Islamic social finance instruments provide greater flexibility, thereby increasing the level of risk absorbency in contrast with the traditional debt finance. So for example, like we can talk about the financing funded by the zakat funds. As what I said, we are familiar with paying zakat. I mean, for those who are working and have their own income towards a certain period for 1 year, if you meet the haul, you need to pay zakat from your income. For the business organization, Islamic business organization, they need to pay zakat on the business assets that they have. So that is one side of zakat. Talking about zakat becomes the Islamic social finance instruments. How can we talk about providing the financing to the lower income people funded by the zakat funds, so that they can use that financing to probably like establish a new startup business or anything that can achieve their needs. All right, so that is what I mean by Islamic social finance can provide the advance of financial inclusion. Number two is it can also spur innovation, which promotes application of diverse Sharia contracts in addressing the contemporary economic and social needs. So it promotes value-based intermediation, providing various sources of funds through purposeful contribution of zakat, sadaqah, and wakaf. Okay, so this is just a quick sharing of the ecosystem of Islamic social finance that we currently have working towards the ecosystem of Islamic social finance. I take this diagram from the Financial Sector Blueprint 2022 to 2026 from Bank Negara Malaysia. So we have the fund providers. So it starts with the fund providers. The contributors comes from all the donors, the investors, government grants. So that is the fund providers. And in terms of funding, what type of funding that they provide? They can provide the donation, wakaf and endowment, zakat, as well as social investment account. Okay, so in terms of, we are currently developing the business model for social finance, especially to be intermediated by financial institutions. At the moment, when we talk about Islamic social finance institution, it is only being practiced by zakat institution, wakaf institution. I think in Indonesia, for zakat institution, you have Basnas, right? In Malaysia, we have all the zakat operation is managed by the State Islamic Religious Council. But nowadays, we want to try to institutionalize the Islamic social finance to be intermediated by financial institution. So in terms of the business model, they have come up with some kind of blended microfinancing. I won't touch in detail on this. I just share a little bit on the ecosystem of Islamic social finance that we currently have in Malaysia. They can provide the seed capital, microfinancing, as well as training. So certain initiative being done by the government of Malaysia, such as we call it iTekat, the blended financing program for the low-income micro entrepreneurs, that is the Islamic microfinance, provided by the financial institutions. So before the low-income people get the financing, they need to go through training. So that is one example of initiative from the Islamic social finance currently being done in Malaysia. Another business model that we can look at is in terms of the safety net protection and training. Okay, Islamic social finance can currently have established the digital tools. I think when we talk about crowdfunding, donation, all the mobile apps, you can pay zakat through online QR code. So that is the digital tools that bring the ecosystem of Islamic social finance, as well as they also have another supporting infrastructures from the network partners, which comes from the social enterprises, NGOs, any kind of foundations, which collect the capital and distribute it through the changer makers. And we also have the SIRCs, which is the State Islamic Religious Councils, as well as the government agency. They channel the Waqaf and Zakat funds to socio-economic impact projects. All right, so this is the current ecosystem of Islamic social finance in Malaysia. Okay, so in terms of the instrument, I believe that this list is not exhaustive. We have a lot more in terms of the instruments, but I will touch mainly on zakat. First thing is zakat, which is the financial obligation paid by a Muslim and only being given to the 8 groups of people, the asnaf. So in terms of zakat, the Muslim understand, individually, Muslim understands that they need to pay zakat from their income, from their assets, a lot of, various type of zakat that need to be paid by the individuals as well as the business entities. The second type instrument of Islamic social finance is sadaqah and infaq, which is the donation in the form of wealth or non-wealth. You can also provide your asset to be donated to any projects or initiative. We also have Waqaf and endowment as one of the Islamic social finance instruments. So Waqaf and endowment, they hold the assets to be used for philanthropy, and the benefits of these Waqaf assets will continuously be distributed for good reasons. I think when we talk about Waqaf, I think in the last 10, 20 or 20 years or 30 years, I think 50 years ago, we only talk about Waqaf assets in terms of land, property, but nowadays implementing or taking Waqaf as Islamic social finance instruments, some financial institutions has already introduced another financial instruments through Waqaf called cash Waqaf. So that is another development of Waqaf being an instrument for Islamic social finance. And we currently have the Islamic microfinance, which is the socially responsible for providing adequate funding for micro enterprises. Okay, so these are the Islamic social finance institutions. So like I said, to understand before we go in detail about accounting for Islamic social finance, we need to understand the concept first, and then what are the instruments, what are the institutions that govern that implement and establish Islamic social finance instruments. So here we have the zakat institution. I think at the moment, zakat is being, in a lot of countries, in Malaysia, I believe in Indonesia as well, zakat management is established by the state. Yeah, each state, or I think in Indonesia we call state as what? Kota, not kota, yeah. The
Province?
state, province,
Oh.
yeah. That is in English. I would like to know if in
Province.
Indonesia.
Province.
Province,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Oh yeah, province. So
Province.
so yeah, zakat management is being operated by each province. So they have the central organization that manages zakat, and then each state will manage the zakat. So they oversee the obligatory Islamic donations, which have improved the poor and needy's socio-economic conditions. Another institution that also established Islamic social finance, we also have the Waqaf institution, which manage the Waqaf fund and assets. So that is if we talk about Waqaf in the form of land and properties, in the form of assets, so it is managed by Waqaf institution. I think when we talk about Malaysia, the State Islamic Religious Council, in every state, the Islamic Religious Council, they manage zakat as well as Waqaf. So they manage both. So for zakat, it is being paid by all types of zakat being paid by the individual as well as business entities, as well as when we talk about Waqaf, it relates to the Waqaf fund and assets. But recently, I think not that recent, maybe for the past 10 years, the financial institution has already also embarked on providing cash Waqaf. So that particular cash Waqaf is being managed by financial institution and not being managed by the Islamic Religious Council. We also have the non-government organization, which is the group that functions independently from any government, undertakes activities to achieve its objective, such as the humanitarian mission. So certain type of NGOs, especially the Islamic NGOs, obviously if they meet the requirement as an asnaf, depending on their mission, they probably being able to receive the zakat fund to fund certain projects. And another institution under Islamic Social Finance is also the cooperative, which is the independent registered organization consisting of individuals who voluntarily join together and make equal contribution in return of for a share of risk and benefits. So these are the four main types of Islamic social finance institutions that we have current at the moment. But when we talk about institutionalizing Islamic social finance as another side of Islamic finance, which can work in parallel with Islamic commercial finance, so probably the financial institutions have embarked on providing the Islamic social finance instruments. Okay, so based on that understanding on the instruments, the concept, instruments, as well as the institution. So each institution, if let's say the Waqaf institution, they receive the zakat payment from the individuals, as well as the business entities. And then based on the total amount of zakat that they have collected, they need to determine which parties, beneficiaries that can receive the zakat payment, the zakat being collected by the religious council. So in terms of so in that case, the zakat fund will be distributed or will be given to any institution, such as the NGO or even the financial institution. Certain financial institution will be able to get the zakat fund if they want to establish what we call as the Islamic microfinance. So what will be the Sharia contracts in between the zakat institution and the financial institution that receive the zakat fund? So that is one thing, yeah. From the zakat institution or even the zakat institution to the financial institution that receive the zakat fund, and then after that, financial institution towards the to the beneficiaries in terms of the microfinancing. So that's another Sharia contracts that need to be established. So what you need to do, I mean, in basic terms, we need to be familiar with, before we apply the accounting Islamic accounting concept, we reckon performing the accounting recognition, we need to be familiar with the applicable Sharia contracts. So the first type of Sharia contracts that we have is the sale-based Sharia contracts, which is includes murabahah, the cost plus profit, istisna, sale and purchase of asset to be constructed and delivered in future. We also have salam, sale and purchase of commodities to be produced and delivered in future. So that is the first type of Sharia contracts. Why I share these applicable Sharia contracts? Because if the Islamic Social Finance institutions would like to introduce any Islamic social finance instruments to any beneficiaries, to the lower income group of people, these are the contracts that they can apply first when they want to develop the product, and then after that, when they have offer that products to certain group of people, then they need to perform the accounting recognition. So that is the accounting for Islamic social finance. So the second type is the lease-based Sharia contracts, which is called ijara. So this is the lease contract that transfers the ownership of a usufruct of an asset to another person in exchange for a specific specified consideration. We also have the partnership-based Sharia contracts in the form of mudarabah, profit sharing, as well as the musyarakah, profit and loss sharing. And finally, we also have the agency-based Sharia contracts, which is called wakalah. So this is in the form of contracts whereby the principal authorized another party as his agent. So basically, once you are familiar with this type of Sharia contracts, then you are able to apply. I won't touch in detail on this because this is not the topic for our topic for today. But you need to understand accounting in the context of Islamic social finance. You need to also understand the Sharia contracts so that you can see how it is being applied. It has been applied in Islamic commercial finance. So now we have the Islamic social finance side. So how can we apply these Sharia contracts in any instruments of Islamic social finance? Okay, and so yeah, we are done with that. So now talking about accounting from Islamic social finance, we know that we have financial accounting, which is the financial report that we produce to the external users. We also have managerial accounting that you do all the reports for decision making and control of an organization, mainly used for internal users. We also have tax accounting, which we communicate our net income for the year to the local authority for the payment of income tax or corporate tax. And now another concept that we have, it is not new. It has been introduced for the last, I think, 15 or 10 years. We call Islamic accounting. So what is accounting from Islamic perspective? So Islamic accounting, it considers the unique features of Islamic financial institutions, such as the prohibition of injustice, prohibition of riba, interest, maisir, gambling, as well as uncertainties, perform the Sharia compliant activities as well as ethical business activities. Islamic accounting also consider the unique contractual condition of Islamic financial contracts such as mudarabah, musyarakah that I have explained earlier. And Islamic accounting also established the concept of Islamic accountability through transparent financial reporting practices in fulfilling the rights of stakeholders and prioritizing the obligations of Islamic financial institutions. So that is the objective, the main objective of Islamic accounting. So talking about, let's look at how we can, we have in terms of the Islamic social finance and applying the accounting from Islamic perspective, we understand that accounting from Islamic perspective, as quoted by Abdurrahman 2010, it is the process of identifying, measuring, and communicating economics and other relevant information inspired by Islamic worldview and ethics and comply with Sharia, in order to permit informed judgment and decisions by potential and expected users of information to achieve the social welfare and seek mardatillah, which is the blessings of Allah. So that is the understanding of accounting from Islamic perspective. Whereas, what do you understand about Islamic social finance? So Islamic social finance is the financial structures or business models that aim to deliver tangible social outcomes by mobilizing philanthropic capital. So what type of capital being, or the instruments being offered in Islamic social finance that include sadaqah, donation, wakaf, endowment, and zakat. So that is the definition of Islamic social finance that, as I can quote from the financial blueprint from Bank Negara Malaysia. So how can we, when we have understood about the basic Sharia contracts here, the applicable Sharia contracts that we can, in Islamic financial system, then we can apply that Sharia contracts into accounting for Islamic social finance. So what I would like to share here is, if we talk about mudarabah, so mudarabah is profit sharing. So in terms of the accounting matters on mudarabah investment, let's say any Islamic financial institutions, they provide mudarabah investment to the low-income people. So this is the accounting part, accounting recognition that they need to do at the time of contracting. So they get the cash, so the debit cash account and credit the mudarabah investment account. So this is the deposit received from the Rabbul Mal, the capital provider. And this is the accounting recognition that you need to perform, the institution need to perform at the time of contracting, at the time of repayment of deposit, as well as when the profit is disbursed. Yeah. I will give the slide later. So I have included the examples or the understanding on accounting for each type of Sharia contracts. So this is the accounting for mudarabah investment. We also have accounting for mudarabah financing. The first one is mudarabah investment. So this is the mudarabah financing. So another type of financing being offered by Islamic financial institution. So at the type of contracting, when the payment is received as well as when the profit is received. If let's say the Islamic social finance institution would like to apply or apply the musyarakah contracts to provide the Islamic microfinance, then they can perform this accounting recognition for musyarakah financing. So at the time of contracting, or at every stage of providing that musyarakah financing up until the end of the period. Same goes with accounting for murabaha financing, whereby when you provide the financing, that is when the institution need to credit their cash because you provide the financing to your customer or to the lower income group of people in the case of Islamic then you need to debit the murabahah financing. So when the installment is received, as well as if let's say at the end of the financial year, the installment is due but not yet received by the customer. We also have the accounting. If let's say the institution would like to use ijarah contract, then this is the accounting matters, accounting recognition that they need to do in the time of contracting when the rental income is received. Remember, ijarah is lease contract, so that's why we don't call it as the installment, but we under ijarah, the rental income is being paid by the customer, as well as in finally when the profit is received. So based on this understanding, I mean, to apply application of Islamic accounting to social finance. So how can we apply that in the course of social finance? First thing that we need to do is who will be the Islamic social finance institutions? I think when we talk about Islamic commercial finance, we have a lot of Islamic financial institutions. In the case of Malaysia, currently we have 50 Islamic financial institutions that consist of full-fledged Islamic banks, Islamic subsidiaries, commercial banks offering Islamic subsidiaries. They also provide the Islamic windows. Some commercial banks, they do Islamic windows. We also have takaful and retakaful operators, the development financial institutions, the non-bank institution. They also provide Islamic banking financial products and services. So that is the commercial side, Islamic commercial finance. But talking about another side of Islamic finance, which is Islamic social finance. So when we want to understand the accounting part, the accounting part for Islamic social finance, first thing we need to determine who will be the Islamic social finance institutions. So at the moment, I think the government, in the case of Malaysia, we have lots of initiatives like My Wakaf. You can Google it to get more detail. We have My Wakaf, My Zakat, iTekat, as well as My Salam. My Salam is one of the initiatives to provide the health medical card protection to the lower income group of people for free. They don't need to pay any contribution to get the takaful protection. That is one of the initiative. And at the moment, the Islamic Social Finance Institution is being played in the from the collaboration of the government as well as the financial institution, Islamic financial institution. So that is the start of to understand the Islamic social accounting for Islamic social finance. And then after that, you need to determine or establish what will be the Islamic social finance program and instruments that you want to use. So indicate, like what I have shared earlier, the Malaysian government, they have introduced Wakaf initiative to the lower income group of people. They also introduced My Zakat, My Salam, the health protection. So that is the Islamic social finance programs. So within that Islamic social finance programs, some of it is zakat, some initiative belongs to the instrument comes from Wakaf. In the case of My Salam, the Islamic social finance instruments comes from takaful. So takaful also being determined as one of Islamic social finance instruments. So once you have determined the Islamic social finance program, then you determine the type of products and Sharia contracts to be used. So if we look at the detailed disclosure of the initiative of Islamic social finance programs, so we can find the Sharia contracts that have been used. And then after that, you have offered that particular product to the beneficiaries, to the group of people. And then at the end of each financial year, then you need to perform the accounting recognition. based on the products and Sharia contracts. So this is where we apply the things that the accounting for all the type of Sharia contracts that I have shared earlier. Ijara, mudarabah, murabaha, musyarakah, wakalah. So that is the accounting recognition part, what you want to debit or credit when you provide that kind of financing or investment between the institution and the customers. And then after that, you implement the reporting practices and finally disclose the information on Islamic Social Finance program and initiative to the stakeholders in the annual report. Okay, so that is what I can share about accounting for Islamic social finance. So in terms of the current practices, looking at the perspective of Islamic social finance instruments, like I said, we have zakat, we have takaful, we have wakaf. The instruments is in the form of Islamic microfinance, infaq and sadaqah. So how can these instruments together with takaful, what else? Cooperative funds. So these are the Islamic social finance instruments. So how can we apply that? What will be the accounting practices that can being implemented by all these institutions if they want to provide, like I said, provide the zakat fund. Zakat fund being provided by the religious council to the financial institution, and then after that, as a consequences, the financial institution would like to provide that zakat fund as a form of financing for the lower income group of people to set up their business. Yeah, so that is what we need to understand on the accounting for Islamic social finance. So at the moment, I think a lot of us are familiar with accounting for zakat. I think AUFI, the Association of Accounting and Auditing for Islamic Financial Institutions, AUFI. In Malaysia, we have the Malaysian Financial Reporting Standards. So Islamic Financial Reporting Standard, I think based on my reading, Indonesia did not comply with Islamic Financial Reporting Standards because you do have your own standards for accounting for zakat. So yeah, we are familiar with that. Accounting for zakat is being paid by business entities, on its business assets, which is currently being established. So at the moment, we have that accounting for zakat being paid by business entities. But how about financing from zakat fund, or even financing from other type of Islamic social finance instruments? What will be the accounting principles? What will be the accounting standards? Do we have that accounting standards? So at the moment, when we talk about the practice in Malaysia, the current accounting and reporting practices for Islamic social finance, let me see, Islamic social finance, the funds provided by the third parties are recognized as an off-balance sheet item. So this is the current accounting practice for Islamic social finance, because we currently do not have the
Terlempar ya?
Iya, seperti terlempar ini.
Kita tunggu aja. Silakan siapkan pertanyaan ya. Nanti ada penilaiannya. Gimana Mbak Yakti mau ditanyain?
Iya, Bu. Nah, beliau. Ya, Islamic Social Finance di kita kan masih belum ya. Menarik sebenarnya. Fatimah.
Mungkin di sana lagi hujan.
Not sure. Oh, lately. Is it long that I lost connection? Just
Apa di WA beliau?
ya, saya ini.
Hmm.
Oh, oke.
Siapkan pertanyaan ya, Akmal. Siapa lagi?
Akmal, Fadlan, yuk ya. Ada bonus nilai ya, Bu ya?
Ya, bonus. Bagi yang sering bertanya, apa nilai keaktifan?
Karena ini international class, jadi you will get reward as
Iya.
high as possible. Insya Allah.
Sama juga ya.
Saya tadi sekitar 2 menit, 3 menit ya, Bu ya? Loss ya.
Iya. Ini kita harus selesai jam berapa ya? 5.
1 jam 45 menit ya kalau ini ya, kalau
Berarti
responsi
sebelum jam 6 ya?
belum jam 6. Tapi saya insya Allah setengah 6 sudah ya.
Ya mungkin Q&A 15 menit ya.
Ya, 15 sampai 30. Ini beliau masih ada waktu sekitar maybe about 50 minutes remaining.
19.53.
Ah,
Ini 61 orang, berarti satu akun ada yang 2 ya?
ya, ada yang 2. Ada Anindya, Nur Iza, tadi sama Madara sama siapa tadi?
Iya. Fikah dan Aina.
Oh, iya, yang join.
Nur Afiana dengan Salman. Ali, nggak lupa pertanyaan nanti ya, Ali. Aku khawatir takutnya pada tidur, karena ini dingin-dingin kan. Tiduran lagi kuliah.
Belum join ya. Beliau satu angkatan dengan Bu Laili di UAE.
Oh iya,
Iya.
namanya juga sama ya.
Iya, namanya juga sama. Beliau bilang, sorry, I have problem. Wait a second. Oke.
Oke, sip. Kita tunggu aja.
Saya juga baru tahu beliau itu masuknya 2015 kalau nggak salah ya.
Tapi beliau kan lulusan IUM, tapi kerjanya di UKM.
UKM, iya.
Oh, oke.
Kampusnya Pak Solah.
Oh, dia Pak Salahuddin.
Iya.
Kalau Mas itu
Siapa, Bu? Faiz.
kan suaminya Mbak Tita,
Pak Tuba.
nah,
Pak Tuba S2-nya di UAE juga.
UPM sekarang ya?
Sekarang
Eh,
di UM.
hah?
UM,
UM,
University Malaya.
Oh, bukan UPM ya?
Iya, bukan.
UKM.
Saya menunggu bagian wakaf tadi, accounting tentang wakaf di Malaysia seperti apa. Tadi kita kan belum ada.
Oh iya, iya. Mudah-mudahan segera muncul.
Ya, mudah-mudahan segera muncul beliau. Kalau di Malaysia semua pungutan zakat dikelola sama provinsi. Ada masing-masing ini kan lembaga ya tadi bilangnya.
Mereka kan negara bagian ya, Mbak? Bukan provinsi ya?
Iya, mereka negara bagian. State bilangnya.
Hmm.
Efek ini ya, efek dijajah Inggris.
Iya.
Kalau kita provinsi. Begitu. Nah, dilihat saja nanti bagaimana. Oke, alhamdulillah.
Really sorry.
Waalaikumsalam.
Problem with internet ya.
Yeah,
Nur Laili, Masya Allah.
sorry about that. I am about to finish actually. Okay.
Okay.
So I guess is it this part that I missed earlier?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So in terms of the current, we have yet to have the accounting standards specifically for Islamic social finance. So what I can say in terms of the current practice in Malaysia for Islamic social finance, the funds provided by the third parties recognized as an off-balance sheet item. For example, like the Wakaf Zakat Fund allocated to Islamic financial institutions for the Islamic Social Finance Program. This is currently being managed and controlled by the Islamic Religious Council. And in return, as a consequences of that, the Islamic financial institutions are required to transfer the Wakalah Zakat Fund to the identified beneficiaries. They also have recognized the fund as a liability under the government financing scheme, especially when it relates to the small and medium-sized enterprise. That is in terms of the accounting practices. When we talk about the current disclosure practices for Islamic social finance, currently we have a lack of disclosure specifically on the utilization of Wakalah Zakat for the purpose of Islamic social finance program. One of the the full-fledged Islamic bank, Bank Islam in Malaysia, they already had just established, I think last year, they have established what we call it as Sadaqah House. So that is in terms of the disclosure, they mentioned that Islamic Social Finance Program in their Sharia Committee report, and other institutions, they sometimes disclose that in their sustainability report or as part of the integrated annual report rather than the financial statement. So when we talk about accounting, Islamic accounting for Islamic social finance, we actually need the specific accounting principles on how we can recognize the Islamic Social Finance Program, the Islamic Social Finance Initiative, the instruments, the contracts within the financial statements. That is what we don't have at the moment. So in terms of the need, I believe that when you want to go further on accounting for Islamic social finance, we need to have specific principles of accounting and financial reporting practices for Islamic social finance, as well as the guiding principles for the disclosure practices. We have in terms of Islamic commercial finance, that's what we we do have the accounting and reporting as well as the disclosure practice, the guidelines, the standards. But talking about Islamic social finance, we probably want to include the Islamic social finance instruments as part of the standard within probably within the Islamic financial reporting standards, IFRS, or in the case of Malaysia, we don't follow IFRS, but because our Malaysian financial reporting standards are already in line with Islamic financial reporting standards, I have yet to read further on the standards, accounting standards being established or being complied by the institutions in Indonesia. So maybe you can share further if you have the accounting standards specifically for Islamic social finance. So yeah, I guess that's all from me on this topic. I have shared, if I can wrap up what we have discussed earlier. We have looked at the understanding of Islamic finance. So Islamic finance, it can be divided into the commercial side as well as the social part. And we have talked about the concept of Islamic social finance, what are the instruments of Islamic social finance, the institutions that we currently have in the country, the applicable Sharia contracts that can be established if we want to embark on any programs related to Islamic social finance, as well as how can we apply the Islamic accounting from the perspective of Islamic social finance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much,
Welcome.
Dr. Laili, for the insightful presentation. Maybe for those of you who would like to ask questions, you may use your raise hand feature, or you could drop your questions in the chat box. Okay, maybe before we move to questions from fellow students, firstly, I would like to ask Dr. Laili. From the perspective of students such as myself, studying this Sharia accounting, sometimes I feel like there is quite a lack of, I guess, like reference book or something source where we can learn. And maybe do you have any suggestion where we could seek for reference book, or maybe is there any lectures or maybe some videos that we could watch to dive deeper into the Sharia accounting or maybe Islamic social finance? Maybe that's my question, Dr. Ali.
You mean specifically related to Islamic accounting and Sharia accounting?
Yes.
At the moment, actually, we have, yeah, it is true that we have lack of books or academic books that can be referred by student. We have a lot of books actually in terms of the applied, but academically, I mean, when we talk about the academic books for the course, Islamic accounting course, currently, like what I have include at the end of my slide, I usually refer to this book by Professor Abdurrahim Abdurrahman. He already come up with this book, An Introduction to Islamic Accounting Theory and Practice. So this is a very good book. You can also look at, I think that is about Islamic accounting. A lot of books actually, if you want to understand about accounting and auditing for Islamic financial institutions, I can give, I mean, before I give this slide, I will insert few other reference in my last slide. You can, there is another book that have been, when we talk about accounting for Islamic banks, on the commercial side, in Malaysia, we have the Malaysian Financial Reporting Standards has also published the Accounting for Islamic Banks book. So it's a very good book. Also, Prof. Noraini Muhammad Arifin from IIUM also have come up with Accounting for Islamic Banks book. So that is about Islamic accounting for Islamic banks that you can find. I think for the book that has been published by MFRS, you can get it for free the soft copy of the book from the website of MFRS, so you can refer to that to understand in detail about accounting for Islamic financial institutions. But obviously, if we talk about accounting for Islamic social finance, we have yet to have a academic book for accounting for Islamic social finance, but two reference that I have referred for this lecture, being published by Hassan here, COVID-19 at Islamic Social Finance, as well as the Islamic Social Finance from Instruments to Institution. But they only talk about zakat and wakaf. So in terms of other angle of Islamic social finance, from the perspective of accounting per se, from my small knowledge and experience, I have yet to find a specific book for accounting for Islamic social finance. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. I will definitely take notes from all of your references.
Okay.
Okay, is there any more questions from fellow students? Maybe Fadlan, you want to say something?
Are you all having a face-to-face lecture at the moment at IPB University, or you have a fully online class? Just asking.
We have face-to-face lectures sometimes, and
Okay.
because sometimes guest lecture conducted online like this.
I see. Okay. All right.
I think only 25% or 30% online.
Okay.
So
Okay.
much more with offline.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
In here, it is fully offline.
Fully
Yes.
offline. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I hope that I deliver the things that Dr. Esfa would like me to share with all the students this
Yeah.
afternoon. Yeah.
Students, why? Only one question. I think you should get big opportunity for you to get more information about Islamic accounting. Why only one question? Okay. One question that before said about wakaf ya, Mbak Yeti ya. Islamic
Yeah.
wakaf. What about that, Dr. Laili? We need more information about accounting in wakaf.
Accounting for wakaf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only, I think for wakaf and zakat, we already have that accounting practice. The standards have been included in the accounting standards or the reporting standards. But when we talk about other form of Islamic social finance instruments, that form of Islamic social finance instruments, we have yet to have the accounting principles. I mean, if we talk about the current practice in Malaysia.
Okay. Okay.
Are they also disclose the financial report, Doctor? I mean, in the wakaf institution, for example, how they distribute.
In terms of the
Do they also disclose?
I mean, when we talk about zakat, the Islamic financial, they only disclose accounting for zakat and wakaf. They only disclose the zakat or wakaf that they have paid out. Yeah, zakat payable by the institution. So that is the current practice being established. But what I have proposed or share at the end of my slide just now here is about how if that Islamic financial institution receive the zakat fund from the religious council, let's say. So how have they disclosed that amount of zakat fund being received and then going out in terms of distributing it to the beneficiaries in the form of financing? Because when we talk about financial institution providing any kind of financing from zakat funds, it will be dealt by Qardul Hasan, which is interest-free loan. So there's no profit in between, because they receive the zakat fund. For example, like when if let's say the Islamic financial institution, they receive the zakat fund and then they have identified the beneficiaries. So let's say they get like 1 million of zakat fund, and then to be distributed to as a form of financing, interest-free loan, interest-free financing, the Qardul Hasan to the beneficiaries. So they don't have any profit element in between. But that is actually, when we understand from the accounting perspective, that is the flow. Yeah, but in terms of the disclosure, we cannot find that part of disclosure in the financial statement, because they record that as off-balance sheet items. You can find it in the annual report, but currently they only disclose that in the notes to financial statement, not in the statement of financial position. The balance sheet or the statement of financial position, they only disclose the zakat payable, because that is the obligation of Islamic financial institution to pay zakat. But if let's say that Islamic financial institution, they establish another wing of Islamic Social Finance initiative, so that particular program is currently only being disclosed in the Syariah Committee report. It is just a wordy information, not being disclosed as part of the financial statements. So that is what I said, that we might need some specific accounting principles and financial reporting practice for Islamic social finance if we want to disclose that particular transaction within the financial statement. Okay, we have one question here, right? Okay.
Maybe there is someone who raised their hand.
Okay.
You may turn on your microphone to ask directly to Dr. Laili. Okay. I think we can move to the questions in the chat box first. I apologize for not being able to be on mic earlier due to problem. Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Rizky Syaputra from Syariah Economics batch 58. Permission to ask, Doctor, how is the role and recording of accounting for Islamic financial institutions in managing social financial funds for development projects and community welfare? Thank you.
Okay. Let me bring you back to the current ecosystem of Islamic social finance here. So talking about the role of Islamic financial institution, at the moment they currently collaborate with the government to provide the instrument for Islamic social finance to the beneficiaries, to the group of people, especially the lower income group. So in terms of the support and initiative being done, they have played a very good role because currently talking about SDG, the sustainability effort, the value-based intermediation, Islamic financial institutions has moved further towards not only aim to provide the Islamic financial products and services. They already meet that phase. If we look at the phase of Islamic financial system development, currently Islamic financial institutions has understand their role to move towards Islamic social finance. So that's why they come up with several initiatives to provide the microfinancing, because they want to achieve the socio-economic objective to help those people who are in need of the financing, because they are not able to get or to apply for the financing from Islamic commercial institution. So that's why financial institution or even any private institution, they come in to meet the needs for a certain group of people because of their constraint, to provide this kind of Islamic social finance instruments. So they are currently, their role is, when we look at the financial institution as the intermediator, they currently work towards providing the Islamic social finance, because Islamic social finance instruments, it is being provided not with the aim to get the profit. So that's why when they provide the financing, by having an interest-free financing called Qardul Hasan. So they don't have. So let's say the bank, they provide the microfinancing to this particular customer for example, like 20,000 ringgit or rupiah. For certain period of years. So at the end of the year, that particular customer will need to pay the same amount of 20,000 ringgit. So that is the Islamic microfinance, the role being played by the financial institution to the beneficiaries, for example, like the lower income group of people. Okay, I hope that I answer your question.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. I hope that answered the question, Rizky. And next up, we will move to the one who raised their...
Yeah, Ryan, Lukita.
Yeah, Rian, you may
Oh,
ask
yeah,
your question.
Silakan.
Okay, test.
Yes, go on.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity, my brother Akmal. Thank you for the Mrs. Laili for your explanation. I have one question about Bayinah. In Malaysia, Bayinah is allowed. How is the recording of Bayinah transaction? Is it the same as Murabaha, or does it have its own criteria?
Okay. Thank you, Ryan, for the question. Buy-inah is one type of sale-based contract. We have the murabaha, cost plus profit, as well as the buy al-inah. I know that in the case of buy al-inah, it is not allowable in certain countries, especially the Middle East. But in Malaysia, the Sharia scholars allow that because as long as there is certain requirement, as long as you can have, certain requirement is that you need to have the underlying assets. You need to have the underlying assets, and then the value of the financing being stated clearly in the contract. So the most important thing is you need to have the underlying asset clearly if you want to perform the buy al-inah. So because of if we talk about buy al-inah, which is the sale of debt, the Sharia scholars in the Middle East, they don't allow that because it is like selling of your debt on interest. So they might have some prohibited elements being included. But in Malaysia, we try to reduce, the uncertainties, so that as long as you can, when we talk, let's say I talk about the sukuk issuance using buy al-inah. So as long as you can identify the underlying assets, because you cannot like trade money with money, right? Without having any underlying asset, it is prohibited. So as long as you can identify clearly in terms of the underlying asset, as well as other mutual agreement between the contracting parties, then that's why in Malaysia it is still allowable to do the bay'an inah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor.
Okay,
Does
welcome.
that answer your question, Rian?
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Thank you, Akmal, and thank you, Miss Laili. The answer is very inspiring.
Thank you. Okay, we have another question from Swandi.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, maybe this will be the last question for today's session, Doctor.
Okay.
My name is Wandi. Thank you for the opportunity. I would like to ask, how can the Islamic financial system play a significant role in developing financial investment strategies that not only generate financial profits, but also critically contribute to global sustainable development and community empowerment? This include addressing concerns such as threat as greenwashing.
Okay. When we talk about financial investment strategy, I mean, within the Islamic financial system, like I said, I mean, we need to, I mean, in terms of our understanding, we need to segregate between the commercial side as well as the social finance side. If we talk about the investment strategies for the commercial institution, obviously their aim is to generate profit. They also have their initiative for socially SRI or socially responsible initiative, but their main aim is to get profit. That is the main objective of establishing the commercial financial institution, be it in conventional or Islamic financial system. Yeah. So if we talk about the financial investment strategy that not only generate financial profit, but also critically contribute to global sustainable development and community empowerment, so that is where Islamic social finance comes in. For the financial institution to embark on offering the instruments for Islamic social finance, such as Islamic microfinance, which they cannot mainly providing that instruments only to meet the socio-economic objective or contribute to the global sustainable development and community empowerment. Probably there will be just a small portion of generating financial profit, so that financial institution can sustain longer as an institution that provide the instruments for Islamic social finance. So that's why earlier at the beginning I said that based on my reading, talking about the commercial finance, be it Islamic or conventional, you can, sorry, my tablet pen has run out of battery, so that's why I cannot scribble on the screen. Okay, so yeah, if you want to imagine that we have the three groups. First group is the commercial finance, Islamic, the commercial finance, and we also have the non-profit organization or non-government organization. So at this end, their main objective is to achieve profit. And on another end, for the non-government organization or non-profit organization, their main aim is not for profit. Their main aim is to achieve the mission or the activities that they want to develop by establishing that NGOs. But Islamic social finance is in between of that too. They have the aim to generate financial profits as well as to contribute to the socially economic objective of the community and the people. So when they want to, obviously, as an institution, a long way to go for this Islamic social finance, they need to develop the financial investment strategies to meet that, to provide the instruments under the Islamic social finance program, which can meet these two, generating financial profit as well as contributing to the sustainable development. Yeah. That's from my understanding. That is from my understanding.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. I hope that answers your question, Swandi. And due to time limitation, I think we have to move on to the next agenda. Again, thank you very much, Dr. Laili, for the
My
insightful
pleasure.
presentation and also the engaging question and answers. And thank you very much for those of you who asked your question and doubts away. I hope you can get new things or maybe new insights after this lecture. And next up, there is certificate giving, a little gift from us to you
Oh, okay.
that we will share shortly. Okay. Again, thank you very much, Dr. Laili, for your time and also your wonderful presentations. It has been give us a really new insight about the Islamic accounting and also the role in Islamic social finance. Again, we thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Laili.
Thank you very much, Dr. Esfa and
Yes.
Sister Yekti, as well as Brother Akmal and
Yeah.
all the students. So
Yeah.
really hope that feel free to come to UKM
Yes.
in the future. And
Inshallah.
I hope
There
that
is
inshallah
our
I can
student
go to
that already in
IPB.
UKM.
Sorry?
There is our student that already in UKM right now to join the conference.
Oh, okay.
SAE. SAE.
Okay,
And
all right.
hopefully next year we will have a KKN. Next
Inshallah,
year,
inshallah.
hopefully you can come to UKM.
Inshallah, we can meet
Kuliah
again.
kerja nyata.
Inshallah.
Thank you so much
Dr.
again.
Thank you very
Dr.
much
Laili.
to all.
Dr.
Hopefully,
Laili.
we invite again next year, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Amin.
Yeah.
I can also invite you, Dr. Esfa.
Oh yeah, and it is very important
Amin.
for us, and it's very interesting.
Okay.
Okay, Zakillah khair.
Oh, yeah.
Jazakumullah khair.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Fotonya
wabarakatuh.
mana?
Thank you very much, Dr. Laili.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Foto-foto.
let's take a photo.
Oh, yeah. Let's
Please
take a
open your
documentation
camera.
first.
All of students,
Yeah.
please open your camera. Otherwise, you will not be. Okay, please.
Yeah.
All of students, please open your camera. Rizky, siapa lagi nih? Ali, Anggi, Afifah. Oke.
Okay. Okay.
Ali, kenapa nggak buka kameranya? Aura.
Okay.
Okay.
Satu
Please
first
take a
slide.
photo.
1, 2, 3.
Hmm.
Okay.
Cheers.
Then the next slide.
Okay.
The next slide is so dark.
This
Okay.
is your best
Yang
man.
nggak bisa buka foto bisa ngasih reaction ya. 1, 2, 3.
Nggak boleh.
Okay.
Nggak boleh reaction.
Next. 1. Slide ketiga. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Dah. Cuma 3
Okay.
ternyata.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very
Jazakumullah
much.
khair.
Thank you again, Dr. Laili. See you
Thank you
again next
again. See you
year.
again, insyaAllah. Assalamualaikum.
Insyaallah.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dokter.
Oke.
Thank you.
Sudah ditutup belum, Akmal?
Oh iya. Terima kasih untuk teman-teman yang sudah hadir di kuliah umum kali ini. Semangat UASnya. Saya akan selaku moderator di sini sendiri. Sekian, terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you,
Terima kasih
Akmal,
Mbak Yakti dan Bu Resfa.
semuanya.
Rian, and all.
Take care.
See you. Semoga nggak ada yang ulang.